You know, life is funny. It really is. A long time ago, someone told me, we can't go, G, until you go. Like, we can't move until you move, G. It's your go. And they boosted me as much as they could. Then they detached themselves like a rocket, boosting it out of space. It detaches itself. The boosters got you as far as they can get you. The rest is on you. And that's what my boy LeVon Johnson did for me. He breathed life into G-Bikes and Hobbies. When G-Bikes and Hobbies wasn't even in existence. You see, I had a barber shop, the Hair Lounge. And in that barber shop on State Street, Glasgow, Auburn, New York, a vision, an idea came to me, when the COVID came in, the pandemic, and Biden gave out all that money. So I ended up with like $14,000 from a business loan, small startup business loan, and then I got like $8,000 for the Biden, whatever they was giving out everybody that money. So with that, I got about $14,000. So with the business loan, it was I had to use the $7,800 that I got from them towards the business. And I had 90 days to do so and to come up with a business proposal. So I was in a crunch. I didn't know what to do. I had this money and I was just sitting on it and sitting on it. And the Lord told me, He gave me a parable from the scriptures that, when He gave the tokens and the money and the values to the individuals to go and proceed and do what they have with their gifts that He's given them. And the one that buried his and didn't do anything got the worst punishment. So I was like, I didn't want to be that one to not do something with what the Lord gave me. So around the 30th day, it came on to me to make the barber bus, to get a barber bus. So I'm like, I got the barber shop, the COVID's here, business is about to shut down. Let me do the mobile barber bus thing, because everybody's going to need a mobile barber. And that vision came from when I had the mobile tanning business. And that was going to be profitable. That was going to be very good until I got incarcerated. Going back to the mobile barber business, it spinned it off of the tan doctor. So the tan doctor was a mobile business, and then, the idea to have a mobile barbershop came about. Way before everybody even thought about a mobile barber bus, I was already on it. I even purchased the bus. I got screwed out of that deal, We needed a differential shaft, so I got that fixed. The person who fixed that, they shafted me on that. Long story short, took it somewhere that was supposed to be able to fix it. They gave me a big price that was way more cost more to fix it than the vehicle that I only paid $3,500 for. So, no, I paid $2,500 for it. Plus the $1,000 I paid for the differential shaft to get fixed that wasn't fixed. And then the $500 estimate to find out that it had a whole bunch of problems that wasn't any problems, because I ended up selling it for $1,500. And guess what? The dude fixed it for less than $800. Yeah, he said he fixed it in less than $800. It was just some wires, something wrong. The differential shaft was put on. Something was with the wheels, with this and that and the third. But anyway, long story short, that dream went out the window. So now it's coming down time for me to close the barbershop. I'm like, wow, I had it in my hands. I had the money in my hands. By then, I had already started buying motorized bikes, four-wheelers, things of that nature. And I wasn't considering it a business. It was just something on the side that I took interest in, because I've always liked motorized bikes and motorcycles and four-wheelers and anything that gives you excitement, I liked. So I'm building these things, buying them. It might have an alternator problem, might have a brake caliber wrong, might need a clutch for the pulley. I was buying these things with small problems, repairing them, and making a profit. huge profit off of small fixes. So the idea came like, yo, this is a business. So I started in that area right when I was starting to close down the barbershop on State of Alaska as a hair lounge. All right, so G Bikes and Hobbies was being born. So one day, someone asked me, so what you gonna call it? And we were sitting down at my boy Levon's house, and we was actually discussing this, and he was like, yo, G, you got bike business, this and that, what you gonna call it? Man, you need to call it something. Do that. I was like, we'll call it G Bikes and Hobbies. And that's where it came from. The spirit just came just like that. Boom, right into my head, G Bikes and Hobbies. So I was taking that initially as God's Bikes and Hobbies. But everybody took it as Greg's Bikes and Hobbies, G Bikes. But anyway, God is God. We are God's. God lives within us. So we are the representation of the Almighty High. So we're going to just say G Bikes and Hobbies, all right? That's what the idea with G Bikes and Hobbies came into vision. So as we're sitting there, he asked me, what you got? What you do with all the bikes? You closed down the barbershop. So we sitting over there, we're having some drinks and stuff. We're talking, shooting pool in his basement. And he asked me, so what you gonna do with the bikes? I said, man, I don't know. I put all of them up. So how many bikes you got? I said, man, I probably got like 15, 20 motorized bikes built, put up. 4-wheeler, go-kart, a couple dirt bikes, a couple things that I got. He said, yo, what about that little Stingray bike that you had? And he showed me a picture of a motorized bike that he liked. And it happened to be almost the exact same kind of Stingray I already had built. So I told him that I had to put up. So, I got $500 for it right now. In my head at the time, it wasn't for sale, but the Stingrays were going for like $800, at the time when I was selling them. So it was going for like $800. So in my head, I'm like, you know what? It's in storage. He said, so what? Go get it. Then he pulled the money out. And he put it in my hands. So you telling me you're going to turn down $500? Now, mind you, it's like November, December. It's snowing outside. It's cold. So I'm like, you know what? He gave me the money, so I had my Nissan Altima. And I booked it to the storage unit and got the motorized bike. I digged it out and everything. Got it, dug it out. I think he came and helped me. So we dug it out and brought it back. And my dude didn't have a vehicle at that time. He rode that through almost all the rest of that winter. Showed me that the motorized bikes can really do what they do. And what really tickled me is that I was still sitting back on it while he's riding these and I'm helping him fix it. I'm like, I'm gonna sell this to you, but I'm out of that, man. I don't want nothing to do with that shit, man. I'm done. So the next day he called me with a problem. So he caught me in a loop. So once I'm over there helping him remake it, make it better, make it durable, fix a chain, not knowing that I'm teaching this guy everything about the motorized bike thing. And he got good at it. So he ended up eventually buying other ones on his own. And he came up with his own business called Bob Motors. And while I'm sitting there, he was like, yo, you need to pump this. You need to pump this. This is what's up. I'm building them right here in my house. I'll turn my living room into a garage. And I'm sitting here looking at this guy. I'm like, here I am. I got the idea and the vision of the business is mine, and I was doing it. And he's actually telling me, because I'm sitting here crying that I lost my business, I lost my space. I'm being a big old baby about it. And he's like, yeah, look, I took what you showed me, and I'm doing this in my garage. Not in my garage, but in my living room. I don't got a garage, mind you. He lived in the projects, So he's doing it in the living room of his home. He turned his whole living room into a garage. I tell you, man, he did so much work in that living room garage. He made me a believer. And guess what I did? I went home, and I reside with my mother, so we was talking about it, and I said, Mom, I don't know, I gotta do something. I gotta have somewhere to build. It's like, you could do it right here. We clean this space out, and you could do it right here, and this, and that, and the third. And I'm like, really? So you're gonna allow me to? And she said, yeah. So I started bringing bikes, building, doing it. And I started setting them up on Fulton Street, right in front of the house, and I turned my dining room area of our home into a garage. This came to be so bad that our whole house smelled like gas for almost a year straight. I'm telling you, me and my mom both was nauseated a lot from that smell in the house. But Bikes and Hobbies was formed. That's when I got the vision to go get the hats, the hoodies, the t-shirts, and all that stuff. Got all that stuff done. I thought it was going to boom, blow up, because I made it into the newspaper. You know, the article was about Bikes and Hobbies. I thought it was really rocketing that summer of 2022, I believe, or 21. One of the two, 21 or 22. I think it was 21. Yeah. But anyway, I thought I was about to pop hard. And it went up. And then the recession came, boom, and dropped right back down. People's monies died out. Nobody had no more money, so the business kind of died out. Nobody wasn't buying anything. Nobody wasn't building anything. It just died out. But all in all, I give props to my boy LeVon Johnson for bringing Bikes and Hobbies to life. Because if it wasn't for him, I was in my darkest hours. Lost my business, going through it at home, in my family life, my relationship. Everything was just turned, my world was upside down. I got married out of anger and hurt. You know, she was a good girl that I got married to, you know, but just because I married her, you know, it was just like all messed up. So we ended up being not on good terms. You know, it was just like, that whole time frame was just like crazy. And LeVon was the only rock in my corner that I can go to. I went to every day, and he gave me energy to make it another day. We talked about God. We prayed together. We cried together. We worshiped together. You know, we did all these things. You know, we all have a dark secret, deep dark secret. I didn't know what my brother was going through after I left. He had demons he was really battling, but he was so true indeed with helping me that he hid his own demons from me that I didn't even notice until the end. You know, it started catching me, and then I started paying attention. But it was just like the booster was starting to detach itself from the rocket. So he was pushing me up because I wasn't going anywhere by myself. So he's pushing me up. You hear me? And at one point, you know, he introduced me to a friend that I now have, Doug Young. To be honest to me, Doug was friends with LeVon before me, and I met Doug through LeVon. So if it wasn't for LeVon, I would have never met Doug. All right, so Doug came into my life through LeVon, and Doug did an interview on me before I got the interview from the newspaper, or was it vice versa? Either way, I think he was after the newspaper, because I told him they did a report on me, but he also did a report. But anyway, he wanted to know more about Bikes and Hobbies and the bikes and everything. You know, he started pushing me that we needed to get off my mom's porch and everything, and yard, and just get a business. I told him, expressed to Doug that I didn't have any funds to find anywhere, and I was looking. You know, by the end of that summer of 2021, he introduced me to a place where I can go and open up Bikes and Hobbies and the Hair Lounge all together. It was at the bottom of a thrift shop, and it was $1,000 a month. It was a big spot. I loved it. But you know, the Spirit of the Lord just wasn't there, so I couldn't stay. But in the course of that time, I was able to create and make things that I wouldn't have been able to create on my mother's porch. And all that came from being involved with Doug. And Doug did me a favor because I sold a couple bikes, but I had so many bills, I couldn't afford to pay the rent when he found the place for me. So what did Doug do? He bought one of my electric bikes for $1,000. That was exactly what I needed at the time to get the rental. But when he bought it from me, I didn't know he was going to take me the very next day to show me the rental. So it was just like boom, boom, boom. All of a sudden, I got this place big and open. That's when I started seeing the rocket and the boosters separate, LeVon and I. And that's when it started hurting, because he never came to that place of business. He was supposed to move in there with me, have his own barber chair there with me, you know, help me book the bikes and everything, but he was superseded and wanted to be on his own entity and go his own way. So he came and visited the barbershop, bike shop once or twice within the course of that year I was there. But the funny thing is, he never would come inside. He'd always come to the door. He wouldn't come inside, or he would circle around outside, but he wouldn't come inside. The spirit was telling me something was off back then. Anyway, that's how Doug and I became friends. Then Doug and I, we stayed friends over the course of that time. And Doug, he inspired me, he introduced me to a lot of major people that absolutely were pointless to me, but he introduced me to some influential people in the community. And I thought Bikes and Hobbies was about to take off again. But unfortunately, my thoughts were superseded with reality. I had to shut down and move out because child support came in. I had wanted to juggle $1,000 a month here, $1,800 here. Child support or rent. $1,000 I would have preferred, but I had to let that go and pay the $1,800 for child support, which is way more than that because I have other children that I attend to. So it's almost $2,500 a month, I give or take. Sometimes, it's almost $2,500 a month I pay for child support. And I'm gonna just leave it at that, because I'm gonna just leave it at that. But my life was starting to go somewhere, and I thought it wasn't. And Bikes and Hobbies died over there on that thrift shop off Ontario. I ended up getting a job through Doug. And what happened is, we was talking, I had my CDL back in 2010. And of course, me having my CDL in 2010, I lost it when I went to prison and got incarcerated. I couldn't renew my license. So when I got out in 2016, I couldn't renew my license. I had to get a new one, but I never wanted to drive again because the tractor trailer rode over on me before. So I explained all this to Doug, but I didn't know Doug was like big into the farm industry. So he had a connection with someone that had trucks, and they was looking for employees. And he was like, "Would you like to drive again?" I said, "Sure." So we talked about it, and then one thing got to another. He helped me get the CDL book. He went and purchased it himself because I didn't have the $265 to buy the book. So he bought the book for me. I studied it, and when I took the test, got my permit. And he was surprised. He was surprised that I did it so fast after he received the book. And then once I got my permit, I let him know I have a permit. He said, okay, and then he sent the person that's the manager of where I'm working now, Jason McMillan. Give props to him because Jason came to the place where I was running my bike barbershop, and as I'm fixing on a motorized bike, I see this guy come in with cowboy boots on and a belt buckle and all that stuff, looking like the Wild Wild West, So I looked up, I said, "Excuse me, can I help you?" He said, "Yeah, I heard you was looking for a job." I said, "Job? Doing what?" I said, "Driving on a tractor trailer." I pondered for a minute. I said, "Oh, you talked to Doug." He said, "Yeah, Doug sent me." So that course of that time, me and him talking, he said, "So when do you want to start?" I said, "As soon as possible." I think this was like on a Thursday. He said, "Can you be in on Sunday? We'll work it out, so we'll give you Sunday, Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays you work. Then you got Thursday, Friday, Saturdays off so you can run your barbershop and bike shop." I said, "Okay, cool." So I started working that week on Sunday. And then I started going to the driver training class about 6 weeks after that. That was in Phelps, which I had to ride my motorized bike because my car got totaled. So I rode out there, an hour and a half out there riding, an hour and a half back on a motorized bike, and it was cold too. So I had to have my whole dicky suit on. Like I had to have a whole snowsuit on with the helmet. I was freezing riding out there. And my kids' moms knew, the ones I thought they just didn't, nobody want, it ain't even about them. It's just that even those that around me that had transportation, no one offered transportation getting to and from. They watched me ride that bike. And what I built as a hobby became my major source of transportation for almost a year. Ain't that something? I rode Bikes and Hobbies through the rain, sleet, and snow almost a year. And I made it look good because nobody really said anything about it, but people really thought down on me because I looked like a bum because I was always fixing bikes. I had polo shirts on, and Nautica sweatsuits and all that stuff, but you know what? they all got greasy and dirty from working on motorized bikes. You know, no matter how much you wash them, they still look dirty. And I wasn't buying anything else new to get dirty in that course of time. So of course I looked like, you know, whatever I looked like. And I really didn't care because I was building, and I was happy, and I was content, doing what I loved and trying to make a living at it. And people just looked down at me. But the whole story is my boy LaVon Johnson came and gave life to me when I didn't believe in Bikes and Hobbies. He introduced him. He introduced me to God, which in turn turned me on to this place I'm working at now. And I just gotta say, you know, I gotta give gratitude and thanks where it's due. Brother, if it wasn't for you, Bikes and Hobbies wouldn't have became true. Brother, if it wasn't for you, I don't know what I would have done back then in those dark days, bro. Your house was a sanctuary for me to come to. You and your wife's hospitality towards me for that whole year or two I was coming over there was awesome. You know, even my boy Rallo, I was going to him and his wife's crib during that course of time. My boy Bob, I went over there every once in a while. You know, it was just that certain people were there when I ain't have nothing. I want to thank you for that. I ain't forget y'all. I didn't. It's just that I had to move because, like Yvonne told me, he can't go until I go. And I understand now. You understand? I had to get out my own way. You know, my boy ended up being that booster that boosted me up as high as he can get me. Detached and still kept on with all I was doing and everything I showed him, everything he learned from me. He took it and intensified and learned how to do it and create it on his own and made his own business, made something else become true for him. Now people go to him to get their bikes fixed, to get their bikes created, and all that stemmed from me. But I'm the one that gave up on something I created. But he's the one that believed in something I created to give me life to believe in it again, to keep going. You know, thank you for that, bro. I really do. God bless you. We're going to be all right. Because like you said, if I make it, you know you made it too. Bikes and Hobbies. Dreams do come true.